Again, I want to welcome all of you to this conference. One of the goals that we set out back in 1993 when we created the Tutor-Mentor Connection was to build a better understanding of who the organizations are in this Chicago area who do some form of volunteer-based tutoring and mentoring. Originally, we published a printed directory in 1998. We went on the internet, so now you can go into an interactive map or a links library, and you can find out different programs in different parts of the city, and you can, if they have a website, hopefully you can go to their website and you can find out about them, and that leads you to be a tutor, a mentor, get your child enrolled, and things like that. Having that information is only the first step, though. Getting more people to look at the information is a bigger problem because none of us have massive advertising budgets to do that. So the conferences, when we do them, not only does it create an opportunity for people to come together, but it creates an opportunity for us to go on the internet and get newspaper stories and other types of things that build greater attention and hopefully draw people to the websites where they begin to shop and learn about different programs. When you registered, you had that choice to put your name on an attendee list. If you did, then your name's on a list of people saying that you're at the conference, and if somebody else looked at that list and said, oh, I see that Van's there from Life Directions, they can click on his name and send him a message saying, hey Van, I'm going to be there too, I'd like to meet with you. You know, next week there's going to be 4,500 people in Chicago for a conference on volunteerism, yet how many of those people will you actually get to meet or that you even know? So that's one thing. You can go on the attendee list, and before the conference or after the conference, you can connect with the people who were there. Well, the second thing is that we began to do these panels, and by recording the panels, each of these organizations will have a few minutes to say who they are, tell something that they think was really working well for them during the past year, and we're going to record that. It'll be put up on YouTube, so each of the organizations will be able to use that as advertising for their own organization, and collectively, our goal is that this creates greater visibility throughout the year for all of us, not just myself or the organizers. So, without further ado, our panels are Nathan and Carrie Harris from Indianapolis, Lucy Hall from Jumpstart here in Chicago, Ivory Harris from Black Star Project, Monique Cook-Bey from the Chicago Youth Programs, and Joycella Omerey for Park Manor School. So I'm going to start down here. I'll pass the microphone. If you talk too long, I'm going to go like this so that everyone gets a chance to talk during the allotted time frame. If you go too fast, then we'll open it up for questions. But any of the panel members here and any of you, after this session, you can start a longer discussion that Jordan talked about in this room or in the back. Just pick up a table tent, write your name on it. I want to talk about this or that. It's kind of an open space. Whoever wants to talk with you, that's the right group of people. And if no one talks to you during the next time frame, then you can start trying again during the time frame after that. So without further, let me introduce you to Nathan and Carrie.
Good morning. My name is Carrie Harris. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. We organized a Tutor-Mentor conference like this one in Indianapolis. And at our second conference, we were able to solicit our mayor as well as a governor candidate to come out and talk with our people and actually have a conversation about some of the issues that our city is facing. We were able to have Rupert, and you may know him as the gentleman who won Survivor. He's running for governor in our state, and he was able to sit down and talk with some of our young people there about some of the issues that they're facing and their concerns. We think that having those kinds of people in attendance helps with getting to better connect with some of the monies and things that are happening in your city. And so we think the next conference will be a little bit more open to various other groups. What we're trying to do in the city is kind of get organizations like yours here in Chicago to come together and see how we can better serve our youth there in the city of Indianapolis. Not quite as big as Chicago, but we still have some of the same issues that you have here in Chicago. And I think in Indianapolis, we might be able to address them a little bit easier because we're not as big as Chicago. But we've had some fun. We're still working. We're still growing. And we've been here. We come here every year at least once to one of Dan's conferences, if not both of them. And so we've enjoyed doing that.
Hello, I'm Lucy. I work with Jumpstart. Jumpstart's actually a really big organization. We have different parts in like California or Boston, and our overall goal is to work towards the day that every child enters school prepared to succeed. Me specifically though, I work with University of Chicago students and I focus on the Woodlawn neighborhood. What we do is we work with 3, 4, 5, and 6-year-olds, and we try to help them learn how to read, learn how to write, and if we can, learn how to make sense when they are talking to us. And we do this in a really special way. We bring college students into specific public school classrooms, public school preschool classrooms that we're working with. And the idea behind this is that when college students go into these classrooms, they are able to offer the preschools extra adult help, a lot of enthusiasm, and about 4 hours per week of Jumpstart programming, which is a lot of language and literacy activities, a lot of like our own construction paper, our own timber paint, a lot of like material resources for the classrooms. But at the same time, the preschools offer a lot to college students. They give them a chance to interact with the South Side, they give them a chance to interact with families, and they give them a chance to learn in real time about current education practices and what kind of classroom management techniques work and which ones don't work. So to be clear, we're not really like a one-on-one tutoring agency of any kind. We actually work in a full classroom setting. And this presents us with a lot of challenges, but it helps us reach more kids. It helps us directly support teachers. We're actually in the classroom helping them out. And it helps our students learn about what education looks like in a public school classroom. So I wanted to share a couple of ways that we've made this work. We do a lot of training with our volunteers and with our employees before they ever set foot in the classroom. And that's kind of obvious, but a lot of people aren't really sure how to talk to like young kids. They're not sure about what are typical classroom rules. They're not sure what kind of expectations you should even have for a 4-year-old. So we go into that in a lot of detail. Once we're actually in the classroom, we're really careful to establish a set routine. This is important for young kids, and it also helps us use our time really efficiently, and it helps teachers predict sort of how Jumpstart's going to fit into their classroom. And then kind of like the last best practice I thought you might find somewhat interesting is Jumpstart has money for t-shirts and name tags. Everybody wears the same like obnoxiously bright red Jumpstart t-shirt that says Jumpstart t-shirt that says Jumpstart on it. And this is really, really helpful for the little kids. As soon as they see those red shirts, they can't read that it says Jumpstart, but they know the color red. They know what's getting ready to happen. They know that the routine's getting ready to start. Any administrators in the building know who we are, and parents also. It's really easy for them to recognize us and recognize what our role is. Similarly, we have those same Jumpstart posters with pictures of all of the tutors hanging up in bulletin boards in the classroom and in the hallways. That way, if we don't catch parents when they pick up or drop off their kids, they still know a little bit about who we are and what we're doing.
Good morning, I'm Ivory at the Black Star Project, and I basically work with our school-based mentoring programs. We offer 5 school-based mentoring programs. So when I want to look back at some of the things that I think we do really well, the first thing that came to my mind is recruitment. So basically what we try to do when we have speakers go in and address the youth, we try to have speakers from different backgrounds. So just as I looked at the numbers, you know, we have professionals from backgrounds like entrepreneurship, authors, students, professionals from the banking industry, lawyers, doctors, all going in to talk to students about the process of, you know, how they got on that career track. They also focus on overcoming barriers and obstacles, the importance of setting goals, just to name a few topics that our speakers discuss. We also have some retired teachers. So overall, the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about, like I said, was just the recruitment. So currently at this point, we have over 200 volunteers, about 230. Of those 230, we have 130 active mentors, which means that between the months of October and May, or June really, they go into the classroom at least once. And much like Jumpstart, our program is also it's almost like a transformative model of mentoring, so it isn't one-on-one. What it is, we have groups of speakers going to the schools to address the youth. So we send 3 to 4 speakers into every session that we have at the schools. And currently, this past year, or the school year that's wrapping up now, we've been in 78 schools with some type of school-based mentoring, whether the speaker's going to talk to them about literacy and the importance of reading, or whether they talk to them about their careers or professions. We've also had speakers going to talk to the students about the process of applying to college. We also have female mentors going in specifically to address female students. And then lastly, we also have elders that go into the classrooms to address the students as well. And all of our speakers work with students somewhere between kindergarten and 12th grade. Basically, the way we go about recruiting mentors is we have 5 areas in which we recruit mentors. So we do PSAs on radio, so public service announcements. We've had good response from that. We recently, in the past month or so, have launched our radio station or radio show that we have on iHeartRadio called The Parent Revolution. So this is another way in which we're working to recruit mentors. Then the third area and way in which we recruit mentors is just by having mentors refer their friends and family or people that they think may be interested or an ideal fit for the program as well. And then we go to community fairs and resource fairs as well as a way to recruit mentors for the school-based mentoring programs and all of our volunteer-based programs as well. Another area in which we do is we make a monthly appearance on KNTV, which is also another way in which we talk about our programming, and then we also recruit mentors through that medium as well. And then lastly, and most obviously, we use the internet. So we have volunteer ads on volunteermatch.com in which we recruit mentors as well. So those are basically the main areas in which we recruit mentors. So using radio, TV, just mentor-to-mentor referrals, community resource fairs, and the internet as well to recruit mentors. So that's basically it. That's the area that I really wanted to focus on with our recruitment of mentors. A couple other things that I mentioned is that we have, like I said, we have 133 mentors. We were able to successfully train 71 of them this year. And then at the beginning of the school year, so since pretty much since August through now, we've had 131 inquiries about people that may be interested in becoming a mentor. And like I said, of those 131, we've trained 71 of them. So they've been getting out into the schools. And like I said, just to wrap up, transformative model of mentoring through our school-based mentoring programs. And the program goes from the first 2 weeks in October through the first 2 weeks in June. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Monique Cook-Bey, and I serve as the Chief Program Officer for Chicago Youth Programs. But before I became the Chief Program Officer, about 23 years ago, I was the little girl whose mother was looking for a program for her to get involved in because she couldn't afford the luxuries of a Boys and Girls Club or a paid program that offered tutoring and mentoring programs. And so this little girl grew up with sisters and brothers and cousins and, the regular extended family members, and this little girl got involved in a program called Chicago Youth Programs. Through this program, she was offered one-on-one tutoring, mentoring, and also access to free health care. It was a long-term program, so the little girl had to be actively involved and engaged from the time she started, which was at 13 years old, until she successfully graduated from college. And so I laid that foundation because that's who Chicago Youth Programs is. We are a long-term, long-invested type of organization. We've been around for 28 years, started on the north side of Chicago in Cabrini Green with a group of Northwestern medical students just playing basketball. They were concerned with what was going on in that community, and they knew that just playing basketball was not going to cut it. And so 28 years later, we've extended our organization to Washington Park, Uptown, and we have provided services for over 400 youth with tutoring and mentoring, one-on-one tutoring and mentoring. Our program is not a drop-in service. As I said, I was a product of the program. And so we follow our kids as early as 3 years old, pre-K, and we follow them successfully until they graduate through college. One of the unique things about our program, and I think why we are successful, is because we believe that our kids need that one-on-one experience. They need to be engaged by one person for that entire year, or hopefully that entire 2, 3 years, 4, 5, 6 years, however many years they're involved in the program, and they need that attention to be exposed to what's going on outside of Chicago, not just what's going on within their community. We also provide free healthcare services through a clinic here on the south side of Chicago, on 54th Prairie, with the University of Chicago medical students, as well as we have now been moved into the wonderful new Children's Memorial Hospital. And so, again, to me, it speaks to what type of investment we are. We provide our kids, our families, things that they normally wouldn't have access to, and we give it to them, not because they don't deserve it, or not because we think they don't have the common sense to get access to it, but because we love them. We're a family. Our founder, one unique story about our founder, Dr. Joseph DeCaro, started the organization with other medical students, and he is still mentoring and engaged with some of the students who he worked with 15 years ago. Our staff is very small. We have about 8 staff members, and out of the 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us have been there for over 13 years as a student or as now a full-time employee. And so that's the type of long-term investment that we have. We have built this trust, we have these relationships with these parents and these families, and we made this investment with them. And to me, that's what makes us successful. Now, even though I speak of success, we definitely have had our failures within so many years. I'm not going to sit here and just paint this perfect picture and like, oh, yes, Jesus has come down from heaven and bestowed his faith upon us, and we are exempt from everything. No. We have had our struggles, but throughout those struggles, we have grown as an organization, and we are committed to changing the lives of youth, point blank. And we know that our parents and our families do not have access, so we provide it for them 100% free. Our program has been free from the time it began up until this day. We provide transportation, we provide one-on-one mentoring, we shuttle our kids throughout the city of Chicago. We have sites at University of Chicago, Loyola University, Northwestern University. And these spaces have all been generously donated to us because of something that happened 28 years ago with a group of medical students who were concerned about what was going on in the city of Chicago and what's still going on today in the city of Chicago. So for me, that is our biggest success story, is that we realize that it takes a long-term investment, and even after I'm gone, that investment is still going to continue on, and we still need to maintain and work throughout the city of Chicago and help the underprivileged who don't have access, who just need someone to walk with them one day at a time, one step at a time, and give them resources. So that's our story.
It's quite a story. She has validated some of the things that we're also trying to do. My name is Joycella Omerey. I am the president of the Park Manor Alumni Association. Park Manor is an elementary school on the south side of Chicago at 7037 South Rhodes. Our services are localized because we work within that particular school, but most people do pledge their allegiance to their high school or their college sorority or fraternity. We believe in starting with a younger group, and the Alumni Association is our access to our old alma mater elementary school, Park Manor. Our mission statement loosely says that we have come back to offer our wisdom, our experience, our stewardship, and that we want to be supportive of the administration, the teachers, the students, the parents, connecting them with the resources that we know are available. Mainly we're a mentoring group. We do expose them to all kinds of activities. We've taken them to concerts, we've taken them to various programs, trying to give them exposure to things that they may not necessarily have exposure to. They've gone to auditorium theater several times. We have essay contests for them. We just recently went through the Chicago Metro History Fair. Park Manor had never been entered into the Chicago Metro History Fair, but even on the first time out, they made state. So it was like, let them see their potential, let them see that they can be competitive, let them know what other students are doing in other schools, so that they go beyond just the Park Manor community. We're trying to develop a model of mentoring that we think will work. You might say it's a 7-year plan, but it starts with the middle school, the 6th graders. A mentor will go in and conduct a class in the 6th grade. Stay with them for 3 years. Stay with them through 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, imparting to them, learning their personalities, looking at their strengths and their weaknesses, seeing what resources we can bring to bear, collectively or individually. Like I said, we take them out on different trips and things like this. Primarily, we focus on middle school. Anyway, that 3 years is devoted to building relationships. If you are a tutor or a mentor, then I don't have to tell you that relationship is everything. If you build a relationship with students, they'll come to respect you, they'll come to listen to you. You can impart so much easier if you can build a relationship. That's why we say 3 years with the same class. I've been doing this, I would say for the last 4 or 5 years. I've been doing this all my life. But I'm telling you about the last few years with Park Manor School. I have been with my group now. I started 6th, 7th. They go to 8th grade in September. I would be so sad when my babies graduate. But at the same time, they have to graduate because that's one of our goals. That's part of the 7-year plan. We're learning them, learning their personalities, helping them through 8th grade. But the model says, we do not want to lose a single Park Manor student. Every one of you will finish high school, and we will see to it as best we can. And that's a very foundational goal. I mean, for us sitting here, who would have thought that finishing high school was such a lofty goal? I mean, in my day, and I don't mind telling you what my day was, but you can look at me and see. In my day, people, you wouldn't think of not finishing high school. It was so minimal. We were so much more committed to our educational goals. Our family structures were so different. Sad to say, I think we had it better than 50-some plus years ago than the students do now in terms of just basic family structure and support and encouragement and all of those things. That's not a very good comment to say, I had it better than you do 50 years ago. But I think there's some truth in it, so that's why I go on to say it. So what we're trying to do at Park Manor is to develop a model for them in high school. We take a form, they fill out a database form as they're coming out of 8th grade with all their information, and then we see who's going to the different schools, different high schools. When they get there, we expect them to band together as the Mighty Mustangs of Park Manor, and someone will be representative in that school and kind of hang on to their fellow students and report back to us what is going on. The door is always open. Come back to the alumni. We will help you. We will support you. What can we do to get you through these 4 years? So we're working on that model as we go. One last comment. You can never underestimate the involvement of the parents. They can be your best friends or your worst enemies in trying to work with the students. I love what Monique Cook-Bey said. They have an inclusive model. She mentioned parents, and that's why I said everything she said validated what we are trying to do. They have already done it. Never underestimate the power of the parents. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. One of the things, when I started the Tutor-Mentor connection, it was after having led a volunteer-based Tutor-Mentor program in Cabrini Green for 17 previous years. So I really firmly believe in this one-on-one and long-term commitment. We used to say to our kids and our volunteers, once in Cabrini Connection, always in Cabrini Connection. And what that means is that the relationships that are built in 1 year because a program makes that possible, those relationships now can continue through the internet forever. And it's not just helping kids get through high school, but it's helping kids have an expanded network of adults who are helping them into college and jobs and future opportunities. We can all do that now. We couldn't do that before. Not every program has that same model. So my question to the panel is two things. One is I'd like to pass this back again and ask you to give your website address so that it's on the video and people can find you. The second is to ask you, are there one or two other organizations that do tutoring and mentoring that you look at as a model that you try to emulate in what you do? And if that organization has a website, then give that website, because how we learn from others and how we apply what we learn to what we do is really what this is all about. So let me start back here again.
The website for our Tutor-Mentor Connection Summit Indy is Tutor-Mentor Summit Indy.org. Tutor-Mentor Summit Indy.org. And ours again, no, just all one word. INDY. Tutor-Mentor Summit Indy.org. And again, our organization is not a tutoring or mentoring organization. What we're doing, we're trying to bring together organizations like yours to come in and share what they do in our city. And I've come to this conference now, I guess, about 12 times. I'm assuming that would be a small number. It's probably more than that. And actually, there have been a number of wonderful organizations that I've sat in on their different discussions and workshops that they're doing great jobs here in Chicago. And my hat is off to all of you for the energies that you put into coming and sharing and not being afraid to share what you do and allowing others to take that information back if they're not doing it to improve what they're doing. And that's what we're trying to do with the Tutor-Mentor Summit in Indianapolis.
So Jumpstart, our website address is jstart.org. And as far as other organizations that influence the kind of work that we do, we steal tips from a lot of different places, but they're really mundane tips. Like, we learned that you should take our posters, you should store them inside of a three-fold poster board so that way they don't get bent on the way to the classroom. I could talk about these kind of tips for about 45 minutes and bore you to death. Like some broader conceptual inspiration that we've taken from places. We work really closely with the Neighborhood Schools program at the University of Chicago. Their basic, like the structure of their programs, they take college students and they put them in public schools in useful and interesting ways. So we try to look at how they put together some of their programs and imitate or not imitate as the case may be. And they're at nsp.uchicago.org. And the places, like more personally, where we've gotten the best advice on ways to alter our programs are probably from the public school teachers that we work with, and even some principals and teachers that we don't work with. That's usually a conversation they're really willing to have. And then more specifically, we're connected to the South Chicago Arts Center. They have a really interesting no-nonsense discipline strategy that we strive to emulate.
The website for the Black Star Project is just blackstarproject.org. But one thing that we've implemented on the website now is we have a blog which keeps you up to date on some of the events that we actually have, whether it's parent conferences, whether it's college fairs, or different things like that that we may be involved with. And that's just on our website at blackstarproject.org under blog. And then as well, as far as the other organizations that we work with, which I'm glad that kind of came up because I forgot to mention that earlier, but one of the organizations that we're working with this year, and we've been working for the past couple of years, is Communities in Schools in Chicago. And so basically what they do is they're a hub for organizations like Black Star and other organizations that provide tutoring or mentoring services, and they connect you. If they feel that there's a need at a school that they work with, they connect you with that particular school. So if a school is looking for in-school mentoring, then they will come to us at the Black Star Project and say, hey, can you work with this school? And they generally do that with programs that are free to the schools. Another organization that we work with this year is the McBook Foundation. And basically they come to us to be able to have us provide speakers to some of the schools that they work with as well. And then lastly, this one is more so of, they work with us by providing us with speakers to go into the schools, is the Black Data Processors Association. So those are 3 organizations that we work with just this year to help us either to get into schools or recruit new mentors. Thank you.
Chicago Youth Programs website is www.chicagouthprograms.org. And again, www.chicagouthprograms, ending with an S.org. Honestly, I would say some of the things that we have tapped into as far as what method to use and how to maintain success has come from some of the failures that we've had. Because we are we're a long-term organization, and the families who are involved in our program have been with us for over 5, 10, 15 years. We kind of keep track, and we survey them, we tap into research, and we ask them what's going on. And based on their response and longevity of their involvement in the program, we take that back. For example, 3 years ago, we got some funding to participate in a community-based participatory research program through ARC. And what we did was we surveyed all of our kids who had graduated from the program successfully, those who didn't graduate successfully, and those who had kind of just dropped off. And because of some of the directors who were in the program from 1984 and served as current directors, we were able to reach out to those families, and we asked them simple questions like, why did you stay here? What is it that made you want to be a part of CYP? Why did you leave? What is it that we could have done different? And then, of course, we offered a little stipend. And the results we got back from that research was that one-on-one relationship, how we personalized it, how we maintained that relationship with them throughout their entire time and involvement of the program is why they stayed there. So we took that information, and even though we figured that information out from the inception of the organization, but it was kind of good to get that 20-something years later and could just continue on with that model of being a long-term, long investment organization. Of course, you all know typical things like partnering with your teachers, partnering with the parents, getting involved with what's actually going on within the community and not making decisions for the community, but tapping into the people and keeping the parents engaged and going into the school with the parents and talking to the principals and tapping into them as a resource. And so those are some of the things that we do.
Because we're developing our model and we're pretty much localized in the school system, we look to other alumni associations who have a longer history than we do, and we ask them, what are you doing? Some are 25 years old, alumni association, elementary alumni association with a lot of successful alumni, just like the universities, And we try to draw from them just to see, what are you doing? How can you help us, develop our model? But we have recently come to the attention of others, just based on the success that we've had. For instance, this is just more recent. Once we won the went to the state level with our History Expo, organizations have been asking the kids to come in and present because everybody is hungry for youth. Everybody wants young people to step forward and do positive things. And it encourages people who have been on the battlefield for so long. It means that you're going to have some successors. You're going to have somebody pick up the banner and carry on. So my middle school kids, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, they just presented last Saturday at the Chicago Black History Forum. They presented their exhibit and they expounded on the exhibit. And this is a bunch of college professors. So imagine middle school kids giving a presentation for college professors, and they were well received. We've also been invited to come to Northeastern Illinois University because they have a Black Studies program there. So again, it's because they want to see young people. We're feeding into their pipeline. These are their future students. So the doors are open. So we're getting our just reward for the hard work that we're doing, but it's very rewarding. And like I said, we're just kind of in the stages of developing models. We do the best we can. Oh, I'm sorry, website. www.parkmanoralumni.org. Park Manor, it's all one thing. parkmanoralumni.org.